Are we on?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to our first annual photography show, and thank you for coming. I wanted to say one thing before we get started, and that's to remind the artists to come after their pieces at the end of the show, because we can't carry all this stuff home. So just check the dates and make sure you're here.
At the end of the month.
Yeah, at the end of the month.
Okay.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Again, thank you so much for attending. We're really proud of this new show that we're having. We've never had a photography show before. We had a lot of help, and it's been wonderful. We've met a lot of new artists, and it's been a great opportunity for us. One of the people that we've met is Kevin Fay, sorry. And he was generous enough with his time to jury the show, and he will be talking to artists about their pieces, and we'll also be talking about the people who won awards. Did you want to say anything else?
No, I'm set.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So you can announce, and then Kevin can comment.
So we have to put the first slide up?
Right. There we go.
There you go.
Okay. Do you want to?
Diane, why don't you come up and we'll give you your award, and then Kevin can say something. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This was the Mobile category.
Thanks.
And
My friend, that Kathleen, that's her arm. So
that's your arm.
So I had to bring
You had to bring the model.
Yeah.
So I can see it.
Yes.
Yes.
We have to turn this so you can see what it says.
So Diane's piece was in the mobile phone category, and this is I think a really terrific shot done with the mobile phone. And what we're finding these days is that today's phones are capable of taking some terrific pictures. And I find that some of those that I take look really good on my phone. And sometimes you blow them up to a larger size on your screen, they're overly challenged and they don't look quite as good. This one's an exception. You know, Diane was able to capture this with a great amount of clarity. So we saw it as a very large print, held up very, very nicely. And you want to keep your phone with you. You can't always have the camera, but you can always have that phone. And you never know when an interesting moment's going to come up. And nowadays, with the quality that you can get, it's really worthwhile doing. So, this is a great shot. We've got all this twisted vegetation, obviously with the hand there that looks like someone's working the vine there. So there's kind of a nice interplay between just the vegetation and the human element, and it makes it for a very pleasing image. Congratulations. Yeah.
This is for Mary Moser, and her mother is going to... Her sister is going... Okay, Eliza's going to accept the award for her because she's in Boston, right? Congratulations. I couldn't congratulate you for your art piece. And now thank you.
This is a particularly interesting image, and it would have scored well in almost any category if it was in a black and white category, if it was in a general category, or here in an altered image category. Oftentimes in altered images, we see pieces that have elements from multiple pictures kind of assembled together. And sometimes they're very imaginative, and sometimes they just seem like a little bit too much. In this particular case, we've got this beautiful object here with the light shining through it, and the ability to read the text of this book. Not all of it, the left-hand page, not so much, the right-hand page very clearly. And you've got this beautiful light shining through this cruet, or whatever that is, almost makes it look like a foreign type of script. But oftentimes our photography can be something beautiful, something pretty, something nice. And I think it gets an extra element when it tells a story. And the story oftentimes is, gee, I wonder where that is, what was going on, what's happening here, where's this book? So when you see this image, it does make you want to think, and it does make you wonder about the setting here, even though you can only see a small part of it. But as photography can get us to think and to imagine, this image does that very well.
This was first place in travel. This is Art Backstrom. Is that right? Oh, there you are. I love your goats.
You love them?
Yeah, I love them.
Thank you.
One of the things that we're taught to do when we judge photography is not try to read in too much. Not to try to guess, gee, what did the photographer have to do to get that shot? Did he have to hike 10 miles into the woods, or was he able to roll down his window? That's not what we're judging here. We're judging the picture. How difficult was it to get those goats? What did he do did he have some, food that he was dangling above his camera so they all came over? We're not trying to guess that. What we do see, though, is, this wonderful picture of the goats, and we do know that they probably don't pose like that for very long. So it's one of those shots where you have to move pretty quick. Just talking with Art, he said when he got on the scene, and I didn't know this until he explained to me just a few minutes ago, that they seem to come over one by one by one. So it was a great opportunity, and he captured it. You see two things. One is not just the goats. If it was a bunch of goats in the field, it would have been nice. But you see the goats in this very, very strange and unusual for them environment. So again, it makes you wonder, where are these goats coming from? How did they get up there? What are they doing? And where is this? So it really brings a lot of questions into your mind. And it makes you want to go there, see this place, and really strikes your imagination. So it really is well done as a travel photograph.
This is for Madeline Duval in The Natural World. Madeline? I love the frame too. Thank you. Thank you.
I'd ask you, if you haven't seen this print, on your way out, go see the print. The print is even more impressive than the digital rendition here. There isn't much that you could do. I can't think of anything that you could do to this picture to make it any better. You could put it in any magazine. You could put it in a cover of an outdoor photography magazine. It's as good a wildlife picture, I think, is what you're going to see. One of the challenges here with snow is that digital cameras look at things and tries to make them not too bright or not too dark. And when it sees things that are very dark, it says, uh-oh, it's dark, and it tries to make picture at dusk. It'll try to make it brighter. If it's in real bright sunshine or it's snow, it tries to make it darker. So if you're taking a picture in the snow, you really have your challenge as a photographer to get the snow correct. Here there are a number of shades of white, and the maker here has captured all the shades of white probably as closely to what they really were without letting the camera take it in a direction and make everything look grayish. So there's a real challenge to doing that. There are some things about photography composition that we look for that you don't have to do, but when you do them, oftentimes it helps. And one of the standard assistances, I guess, is something called the rule of thirds. And here we see the bear is about a third of the way over, almost toward the halfway mark laterally in the scene. But a good share of the bear is in this left-hand third of the picture. And the bear has room to move. He's moving from left to right. And Madeline has given that that bear move to continue to move. Think about if she had cropped that and had the bear right up against the right-hand side of the picture. It would seem like he's going into a wall. So here we see he's got room to move. The other part of it is from a vertical aspect, we see that very definitive snow line about a third of the way up. So we've got a kind of a nice, what we call negative space at the top, and it's highlighted by the sprinkling of snow. In that negative space, both the white and the sky allows us to look at this bear in total isolation. And that's oftentimes in photography what you're trying to do. You're trying to isolate an image on a neutral background. And a lot of times you look at photographs that don't quite work because the background is just too busy. So if you saw this polar bear in the zoo with, you know, exit signs and people and popcorn machines and so forth, it wouldn't be the same as it is with this nice neutral background. So here we've got a bear perfectly isolated. I think the last thing is the stature of the bear. With his weight on his front paws and with that rear quarter just off the line a little bit. There's a lot of other ways he could have kind of been breaking his elbows. It wouldn't look as dynamic and as powerful as he is in this particular pose. So there's a lot of things going on here from both technical and a composition standpoint to make this just a really top-notch nature image.
Thank you. This is our best of show.
Microphone.
I'm sorry.
Microphone.
Thank you. This is our best of show paint photograph. It's by Jim Gillen. There you are. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
For you.
Thank you.
This obviously is a terrific shot. I mean, that's why it won, Best in Show. As a travel photograph, you have this sense of place and a sense of storytelling, which is very, very important. But looking for Best in Show, we're kind of leaving that category and looking at all the images. And this one really stood well against the others, and the others were certainly terrific. I think the strengths of this one is another photographic technique, which are leading lines. And if you look at this road, the way it starts broadly, and as you go further into the scene, it draws your eye right to that cart. So everything about this, the line of trees on the left, the line of trees on the right, and the road itself, even with the partial clearing of the leaves in the middle of the road, everything brings your eye right through this beautiful scene, right to that cart, and with a colorful backside of that cart. And you can see enough of the cart. We had a picture in our club, somewhat similar last month, but whatever the object was so far away, there was leading lines, but it was leading it to something you couldn't see. This one, the cart is probably captured in as nice a spot as you can imagine. When I talked about a minute ago, rule of thirds, look where that cart is. It's in the upper, just about the upper third, both vertically and horizontally. So the whole image works from a technical standpoint and a compositional standpoint that have you looking at the beautiful trees, a beautiful park, and it's just complemented by your imagination of this cart having just made its way through the path and leading it to somewhere that we can't see, that we wonder where it is. So overall, it works as a beautiful picture that really tells a great story for us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kevin, for all this time. We really appreciate it. We've never had a judge who actually even wanted to be around when the awards were given because they're always a little skittish about being questioned, and he was very generous with his time to spend some time with all of the artists and especially with all of these award winners. We really appreciate that. A couple of things. One was that a few people had asked, will your email addresses, will your names be on a list for when we have the second annual photography show? And we will contact, this is our first year doing photography. You know, we put it out there. We had a pamphlet, and we contacted some of the local photography clubs and societies. And it'll be great now. We'll get the word out that we're having one every year. We may or may not have it in October. This is when the library had the gallery open for us, so that's why we chose October. I know after the Big E, sometimes that can be a little difficult, but we really appreciate everybody who did enter. It meant a lot. And another question we often get asked is, you know, what exactly is the Red Thread Network and what do we do? Jane and I started 7 years ago when we did the Terriers Around Town, the fiberglass dogs that are still around town, and we decided that we really wanted to get involved and connecting the community and the businesses with art, and to see how that everybody can broaden their network and have a nicer understanding of what everybody else is doing in town and have a real sense of community. Some of the things that we do are these art shows, mostly for adults. And we also sponsor art classes at the Unico building on Fridays for school children. We've sponsored art enrichment classes for different schools who are lacking in art classes. Yes, we are starting art classes at Cancer House of Hope at the end of this month. It'll be a monthly class there. We are also connected with the school department. They started a One Book, One Community project, and we've been helping support the art piece of that, where all the children from 1st grade to 5th grade all read the same book. And they had plays and drama, and they're going to have art around it. So these are just the different things that we're doing. One of our biggest events that we have is the Yule Tree Jubilee, and that starts the day after Thanksgiving, and that's held at Belize Toyota. Our first year we had 19 trees. Last year was our second year. We had 31 trees. This year we're hoping for 42 trees. We have quite a few people already committed. So hopefully we'll see some of you there, and this is part of what we do and our support of the community in connecting all of these. I can also see our mayor in the back. So maybe he'll have a few words to say, because we usually put him on the spot. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Will.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Well, I'll just be very brief so we can all enjoy the art, but thank you all for coming out. The library is gorgeous. We love utilizing it. And I'll say, of course, thank you to you two. Amazing. They do amazing work. It's great to have this kind of enjoyment of the arts and to use the library the way we do, and it's really because of you two. So thank you very much. Let's give you two a round of applause. And we will have a tree again this year, I think.
Oh, yeah. I heard you were having a tree.
Okay,
yes.
so we'll have a tree again this year, which if you haven't been before is awesome down at Belize, to see all the different trees they have there and to see all the decorate. I don't really decorate. I'm not just I kind of help. But it's again an awesome event that raises kind of awareness for the arts in town. And I know a lot of people that I talk to love the Terriers Around Town. So if you guys want to do that again, that'd be great. But they love that, and that's really. To develop a more artsy community, to have stuff on our common, it starts here, and the more we can develop this, and the more we can get people to come out and support it, the better it will be. So thank you all.
Thank you.
So there's plenty more, something to drink and something to eat. I hope you'll stay and talk to each other about your art.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Yes?
I just wanted, on behalf of the library trustees, I'm always late.
We should have asked.
My name is Ann Dempsey. I'm president of the library trustees, and I have two fellow trustees with me tonight, Kathy Andrew and Karen Simpson. And one of the reasons why I'd like to thank Red Thread and the mayor and thank you all for coming is that this is the kind of event that we had in mind when the library was designed. This room is very central to the library because it is a community room, that's its name, and it represents a whole new space that is available for the community for these kinds of events. And as trustees, the three of us who are here could tell you that in the less than 2 years that this room has been available to the public, there are literally thousands of people who have attended some sort of event, training, classes in this space. So we are grateful to all of you in the community that have helped make this possible, and this is a perfect example of what we had in mind. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anne. Time for a snack.
Yeah.